Dancin got that sauce in it.
What's up, SFL Nation, and welcome back to SFL Nights with AJ Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decide to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. Really appreciate it, y'all. Look who I have here with me. Mr. Jimmy Hazards, the San Jose Flight out here flying around. How you doing, brother?
I'm chilling. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a great show. Everything. How you doing?
I'm doing very good, man. Always a pleasure to have you and your energy on, especially after a day like today. I needed that energy.
There you go. Well, I'm here for a show. We turned up. There you go.
There we go. All right. So we had some fantastic games that happened over this past week. I'm sure you're happy about the outcome.
Yeah, you know, it was a great week. You could say teams are getting better by progression.
I agree.
These games are getting a little more interesting. Defenses playing. Yeah, it was a great week. Great week.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it all right here. Plus, I have Mike Tenscrew's mock draft that he updated. And I believe that you're still on there pretty high, Jimmy. So we'll see.
Mike, same spot, Mike.
Hey, but I don't think you're gonna have no issues, man. No issues. All right, and then I have my fourth and goal interview with Mr. Stefan Forrest from the linebacker of the Ottawa Cavalry and Sonny J, the kicker from the Salt Lake City Rustlers. So it's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to it. Now, Jimmy, I actually chose Albuquerque Adams, San Jose Flight, Tacoma Grizzlies, and the Salt Lake City Rustlers to win their games this past week. And looks like I was 4-0.
1-0, strong, even stronger.
Hey, man, you know, I luck up sometimes. No, but everybody has been doing a really good, really good job trying to prove themselves, trying to get themselves noticed. So, but it's some great stuff, man. So here's how it all went down. The Albuquerque Adams took on the Ottawa Cavalry, and the Adams won 47-14. The Ottawa Cavalry had 289 yards passing, 36 yards rushing, 325 yards total. Their time of possession was 18 minutes, 14 seconds, with 2 turnovers. The Albuquerque Adams had 214 yards passing, 305 yards rushing, for 519 yards total. Their time of possession was 25 minutes, 46 seconds, with no mistakes. So, what did you think about this game, Jimmy?
Albuquerque looks amazing. They started off a little slow. I noticed that. Roosevelt with that 80-yard, I think it was like 80 yards. It was a lot of yards. I'm lying. It was more like a 60-yarder straight touchdown. I loved it. He gave us a good whopping 148, 2 touchdowns. I loved it. I wish Ottawa runs the ball a little bit more. 36 yards is not going to cut it. It is not going to cut it. It may be some of Albuquerque's defense. It may be the play calling, but I think they're going to have to run the ball a little more. I love Scar Patterson. 289, 2 touchdowns. That's a good quarterback any day. Win, lose, or draw, that's a good quarterback play. And Douglas Brown, 5 touchdowns. 5. He had me out there mad that my running back didn't give him 5. So, you know, it was great on both sides of the ball. Albuquerque kicked butt 47-14. That may be the team for San Jose to beat in the championship. That's all I'm going to say right there.
Okay, listen, I hear you, man. Being jealous of them 5 touchdowns.
I ain't jealous. I love it. I love it. I wish I could do that.
Hey, you know, you're going to be there. I'm telling you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But Douglas Brown had a fantastic performance that he was the player of the game with 30 attempts, 268 yards, like you said, 5 touchdowns, and 3 reception yards. The Salt Lake City Rustlers took on the Memphis River Runners, and the Rustlers won 41 to 21. Memphis, their passing was 191 yards, their rushing was 165, and their total was 356. Their time of possession was 22 minutes, 2 seconds with 1 mistake. The Rustlers had 371 yards passing, 138 yards rushing, 509 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes, 58 seconds with 2 mistakes. So what'd you think about this game, Jimmy?
Tommy, Utah changed the game. That man is going to throw the ball down any team's throat. Great quarterback I see. He's going to be great in the SFL. He took over the game, throwing the ball like he does. You can beat a lot of teams like that. Wales did a great job on the other side with Memphis. He gave them a 165, 1 touchdown. That was awesome from a running back. Anytime you have 100 yards, you're having a beautiful game. OJ Bruin, he did okay over there on the other side, 191. I didn't record too many interceptions. I'll try to leave their mistakes alone. But 191, 2 touchdowns. I asked for a little more passing yards. Throw the ball, Memphis. Throw the ball. But like I said, with Salt Lake throwing the ball the way they did, 20-point win. Yeah, that's hard to beat right there.
Definitely. And as a quarterback, interceptions happen. I throw a whole lot of them. But if you're gonna throw the ball, then that's what you gotta take the L sometimes. But
hey, 29 away from 400. Tommy Utah had the game of his life. That was a beautiful game right there from him.
So much so that he was the player of the game with 30 completions, 30 out of 37 attempts, 371 yards, 3 touchdowns, and his quarterback rating is 113, which is amazing. Yeah. Your San Jose Flight took on the Birmingham Fuel and won the game 17-13. San Jose Flight had 142 yards passing, 136 yards rushing, but 278 yards total. Their time of possession was 24 minutes, 25 seconds with no mistakes. The Fuel had 216 yards passing, only 86 yards rushing, with 302 yards total. Their time of possession, 19 minutes and 35 seconds with no mistakes. So neither one of you guys made any mistakes. Clean game. It came down really to the rushing game. And I guess you had a lot to do with that, didn't you? Huh?
Right, and I did. And over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed we have been trying to see what that running does first, and then go ahead and throw the ball over your head. I love what Green is doing. Our quarterback, I love what he's doing. He's doing tremendous work each and every week. Struthers on the other side, he had a little bit better game than Green with a couple more passing yards, but they both pretty much even with that 1 touchdown. Darby, watch out for him. 98 yards, 1 touchdown. He's a good receiver. You let him go, he's gonna score on you. The biggest thing I think we won this game was time and possession, almost 5 minutes. We kept the ball in our hands. Defense pretty even on both sides. It started real slow, stayed real slow. Defense was consecutive on both sides, but with us 5 minutes holding the ball a little bit more, you can't beat us. So all I ask for is the field defense. You gotta get the ball back. Get the ball back, and let's see what Struthers and them guys can do. I'm not giving myself the player of the game. I'm gonna give the whole San Jose the player of the game. We are the team of the game. And the reason I say that, because last 2 seasons, you would have never thought we would be in the position we is now. We are playing great. It's great team ball. What those guys doing is scouting is beautiful. So, I hope we keep it up on the high hill. Championship, here we come. That's our goal.
Yeah, you're right about that. San Jose has had their struggles, but as with any team, and that whether it's esports, whether it's a real NFL team, you're gonna have those points where you struggle, but you want to see that so those successes build up, and that's exactly what's been happening. And I know you said that you're gonna give San Jose the player of the game, but the computer said
well, the computer
said that you, Jimmy Hazards, was the player of the game with 26 attempts, 141 yards, 1 touchdown, and 19 reception yards, brother.
I'm just trying to get drafted. I just want to be on my team. I'm gonna keep running out there. That's what they got me there for, the run. So I'm not stop running. I'm running and running and running some more.
Absolutely. And lastly, we have the Madison Lynx taking on the Tacoma Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies won 30-20. The Lynx had 312 yards passing with 63 yards rushing, 375 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes, 50 seconds with 2 mistakes. The Grizzlies had 265 yards passing, 172 yards rushing, 437 yards total. Time possession, 23 minutes, 10 seconds with 2 mistakes as well. So both of these teams made 2 mistakes. Tacoma clearly had the ball a little bit longer, and he also had a better rushing game than Madison Lynx. Do you think that would have changed if Madison would have had a better rushing game, or maybe threw a little bit less?
Yeah, they're gonna have to give Trey Finnick. They're gonna have to get him involved a little bit more. Granted, I think this is his first year, but they're gonna have to get him involved a little bit more. They're gonna have to run some more to beat some of these teams. Passing wise, they look great. Price 312, 2 touchdowns. Anytime your quarterback throws over 300 yards, love him, give him a hug. As far as Tacoma, that wide receiver core is beautiful. Mike Savage got injured in the first half. I'm not just speaking because he's my brother, but they get injured in the first half and come back and have the drive he did. It was beautiful. He gave him 131, 1 touchdown. Brad, that's how you win games. Run the ball. Brad is running. He's one of the running backs I'm looking at as, hey, stay away from me. You're doing good. I don't want no comparison, none of that. But yes, Brad is doing his thing. He was also, as you're about to say, the player of your game. But I think Tacoma really got away with it. Played good ball. 2 turnovers on both sides, so it was a little here and there. But like I said, getting Trey Finnick involved, I think Madison has a better chance. They got to run the ball.
Absolutely. I would agree. And Brad Jones was, in fact, the player of the game with 27 attempts, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 16 reception yards. So it's down to the nitty gritty, y'all. It's coming up, and this has been some fantastic ball to watch. And I must say that I'm truly proud of everybody that's given their efforts out there, whether you have had a blowout game, whether you've had one just by barely an inch, everybody's been doing their thing. Everybody's been submitting their progressions and just being a team player. So kudos and congratulations to everybody. All right.
Right.
All right. So this week, I believe this is going to be on Friday, but then it may be on Sunday. So I will actually have that in the description for you guys as to what day this will be out on. But the Albuquerque Adams will be taking on the Memphis River Runners. And this is going to be a fantastic game, but I am going to say I think that the Adams is going to take this one. What do you think?
I'm going to join the bandwagon. Adams all the way. Memphis, throw the ball. Stop them. You stop that quarterback, that passing attack they have. Don't think I'm sleeping on that running, because they have one of the top rushings in the league also. But you slow them down, they have a chance, but we all know Adams going to take that.
All right, then. All right. The Birmingham Fuel will be taking on the Ottawa Cavalry. And both of these teams have been eliminated from the playoff contention. So this is basically just one of those, hey, let's go out with a win type situations. I would like to see Birmingham win this game just to say that they won at least one. So I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go with Birmingham. Fuel, don't let me down. I'm going to pick you guys to win this one game this season. This is going to be it right here.
Hey, I'm putting my trust on Scar Patterson. I think they got it. I like Scar Patterson as a quarterback. That's a tough name to me also. Scar, yeah, I think they got it.
All right, sounds good. Then the Lexington Miners will be taking on the Madison Lynx. And I'm thinking that the Miners will take this probably not by a very large margin, because Madison is a great team that you cannot sleep on them. But I think it's probably going to be anywhere from a 3-7 difference. What about you?
I'll go with Madison. Like I said, get Trey Finnick involved. You get them involved, that's a win for you guys. So, as long as they change some of them plays around, change the game plan a tad bit, just a tad bit, they can win this. So I'm going with Madison.
All right, cool. And lastly, the Tacoma Grizzlies will be taking on your San Jose Flight. And I think even though both of y'all coming off fresh wins, fantastic performances. Oh, so it's going to be you against Brad, huh? gonna be you against Brad, huh?
Me
All right.
against bruh. Me against bruh. This is the game of the year for me. We had this date, so we don't know Friday or Sunday yet, but we got to circle both days on the calendar. Like it's it. We're not talking to each other. We're gonna just play football.
You told me that. I think that y'all gonna wind up taking it though.
Yeah, me too. I think it's gonna go down to defense because we both have great offenses, and we have the San Jose Flight. We've been doing something different a little each week, but it's gonna come down to defense. Based off who defense comes out to play, that's gonna win that game. But can't be stupid. I'm going with the San Jose Flight. Going with them.
Of course, man. Of course. But yeah, I think you're definitely right. A lot of these games will be coming down to defense. If you leave your defense out there on the field, they're gonna get tired, then you're gonna run all day. So hey, depends. But stay tuned, everybody, for Mike 10 Screws mock draft coming right up.
All right, and so we are back with Mike 10 Screws mock draft. Now, it looks like there has been some shifts in the board, and then it looks like it hasn't been in certain categories. But if you want to know more information about us, please feel free to visit www.simulationfl.net, where you can get your scores for the games, SFLm and regular season games, where you can view content from our content creators, including articles. If you want to sign up for any broadcasting or anything like that, feel free to visit the website for that as well. But I have SFLm mock draft goes as follows. In the quarterback position, Joseph Green and Tommy Utah are still sitting pretty at number 1 and 2 with no change from last week. Scar Patterson has moved up to number 3, while O.J. Bruin and Dave Burr has actually dropped to 4th and 5th spots. Then you have Travis Blankton at number 6, moving up from Eric Price, is at number 7, moving down. And rounding things off is Johnny Reno and Gene Struthers. Running back. Now there has been no change in this category at all. So we're going from 1 through 9. Douglas Brown, Billy O'Shaughnessy, Brad Jones, G.P. Wells, Jimmy Hazards, Brooke Basil, Randy Squarebush, Trey Finnick, and Adrian Ellis. Congratulations, y'all. Fullbacks. Number 1, 2, and 3 are still the same from last week with Aaron Alexander, Terrell Sutherland, and Haturo Hanzo. I gotta get with him and see exactly how to pronounce his name. And up from last week, we have Misha Oles and Chris Brighton. The wide receivers category, numbers 1 through 3 did not change from last week. And Nate Ritters, Shane Kaufman, and Justice Blackwell. And then we have David Gurney's, moving up from last week, while Ryan Roosevelt is down to number 5. Followed by Kelsey Brown, Sexton Enola, and Nick Lockett, rounding off the 6th, 7th, and 8th positions. Mr. Mike Savage has actually came up in the rankings at number 9, while Doug Spelling has went down. We have Israel Adams coming up to the number 11 spot, while Josh Styles has fell down to the number 12. We have Mike Churchill, Henry Meyer III, sitting at 13 and 14, with Ace Sharp moving up from last week in the number 15 spot. Then we have Logan Strange moving down to the 16th spot with Zachary Patton and Oregon Darby, rounding off the 16th and 17th positions. Tight end Polly Truth and Jim Copeland, still the number 1 and 2 spots from last week. And then we have Tylon Still in the number 3 spot, up from last week, while Rupert Westleod, Caesar Ackerman, and Eric Catcham, still love that name, has moved down to the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions, followed by Bill Henry, Antonio Delano, and Yaron Hammer, rounding off 7th through 9th positions. Outside linebackers, we have Perrin Bara. Again, guys, please forgive me for butchering these names. You know, please feel free to DM me the actual pronunciations of your name, and I'll make sure I apply it next time. But then we have Nathan Fury in the second position. Alden Bleeker has moved up to the number 3 spot, while Z Cummings has moved down to the 4th spot. We have Johnny Van Nan, Patrick Kelly, my friend, sitting at 5 and 6. We also have Brian French and Mitchell Withers rounding off the 7th and 8th spots. On the defensive end, there has been no change since last week. So we have Johnny Law sitting at number 1, followed by Brogan Sparrow, Frank Stackhouse, John Swift, Mike Bolte, Matthew Holford, Morgan Mills, Marcus Sledge, and Julius Maximus, rounding off the number 9th spot. Defensive tackle has not changed as well from last week, with Robert Coram sitting at number 1, followed by Chance Wall, T.C. Turner, Tiger Sonata, and Isaac Forrester. The linebacker positions, we have 1 through 4 with no change as Axel Raven, Leon Thunderman, Stephen Forge, Garrett Hudson. Dave Ware has actually moved up to the 5th position from last week, while Stephen Black has went down. We have Taz Blackwell, Earl Fields, Miles Gibson sitting at the 7th through 9th spots, while Bogey Barr has actually moved up. John Martins has moved down. Then we have Derek Williams, Philadelphia Collins, Zed Markov, Yakov Zolotov, Kay Shine, Josh Slap, Zeus Howard moving up on the board, while Declan O'Rourke has moved down. Actually, Declan O'Rourke has just been added to the board at the 19th position, so congratulations. Followed by Lucien Corvin and Jaleel Usman going down. Cornerbacks, we have Cody Griffin, Jared Brody, Don Fletcher and Jay Rock sitting at the 1 through 4th position, while Terrence Pearson has actually moved up from last week. Jermaine Menifil has moved down. Laquan Smith has moved up to the 7th position, while Xavier Hawkins has moved down to the 8th position. Daniel Valentine and Stuart Zamella has also moved up. And Roy Vance still sitting pretty at number 11. Then we have Ty Woodson and Derek Bullock that have moved down in the rankings, and Josh Ramsey rounds out everything. In the free safety category, we have Isaiah King III, Justin Reside, Daniel Wright, and Josh Rowe, and G.D. Gone sitting in the 1 through 5th positions, while Ronnie Renfro has moved up on the board. Deshaun Evans has moved down. Kenny Miller has moved up to the number 8th position, and Michael Lister has moved down to the 9th position, followed by Amari Rar and Cyrus Jive. Then we have Dante Grimm in the strong safety position. Dante Grimm and Isabella Blackwell sitting pretty at number 1 and 2. Then we have Brian James that's moved up from last week to number 3 position, while Frankie Custer has moved down to the 4th position. Mike Jones has moved up, while Adrian Blaine has moved down to the number 6 position. We have Nana Leah and Kenny Slider moving up to the 7th and 8th positions, while Harry Husky has moved down, and Danny Sacadrius and Terrence Weary rounding off the 10th and 11th spots. And lastly, on the kicker punter side of things, we have Dane Monroe at number 1, Paul T. Potois, number 2, we have Chance Towan and Sonny J been added to the board. So congratulations for being added, Sonny, and looking forward to speaking to you actually in a little bit. But guys, rest assured, if you don't hear your name being called, do not be discouraged. If you haven't seen too much movement with your name, it's probably, because you have to be a little bit more involved. Mike watches all the chats. He talks to coaches to see where you are, have you making your progressions, things like that. So, like I said, don't fret. It's going to be a lot of positions out here, that need to be filled. And just do your best to make yourself known by coming on these shows, not to mention all the other great content creators out there like Nelson Lozano and Dave Axis and Tyler Falk and Netma with Kendra Hall. You had a lot of different outlets. Even if you want to just get into writing, you have a lot of different outlets that kind of get your name out there for you. So I hope that y'all are enjoying everything. I hope that you're enjoying your time. And if you have any questions, rookies, please feel free to contact any GM, any owner. Contact me. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have about what's going on around you, all right? Next up, I have my For the Go interview. Coming right up. All right, what is up, SFL Nation? I am back with a good friend of mine, Mr. Sonny J. He is the kicker for the Salt Lake City Rustlers. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
That's good, man. Good to have you on, finally. It's been a while.
Great to be here.
Good. So, let's get the preliminaries out the way, because when I first started my show, first of all, guys, he's a rookie, but not really. So we came out together in the season 12. We actually, same rookie class and everything, but he had to leave for a little bit and he decided to come back and join us. So we're going to hear from him right now on this. First of all, let's get preliminaries, as I was speaking of. So what is your name? If you want to give us your real name, that's fine. But your age, your hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team.
Well, my name is Jason. I am 21 years old. I am from Girard, Ohio. Interesting fact, we can get on this a little later if you want, but I did have a transplant back in October. And my favorite NFL team is got to be the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. And listen, they've actually gotten a whole lot better,
Yeah, they have.
But you said you had a transplant. Did you want to talk to us about that? What was going on?
Yeah, for sure. Well, so when I did come in season 12, my original rookie class, I had complications because I was born with something called cystic fibrosis, which is a chronic lung disease and also affects the liver. I was doing great with it for a while, and then as soon as I hit about 16, that's when stuff started really getting bad. And then they already knew I eventually was going to need a transplant, but I had something called hemoptysis, which is when my lungs got inflamed. So I'd regularly cough up blood, which was terrible. And then one time back in, I'd say November of last year. Yeah, November. I was in the ICU for about 2 weeks. And I was under a medical-induced coma, which I was in that for 2 weeks. So then when I awoke, I had a trachea and everything in, but they pulled that out and stuff. So then after that, I was too sick for the transplant at that time. They were going to try that time. But they said if I would have got a transplant at that time, I would have passed away. So they didn't want to. They actually told my mom that at one point in time, they were like, there's nothing really we can do. I had some kind of blood disease I also got when I was in the coma. They said there's nothing else they can do and kind of have to put it in God's hands. And I'm not a religious person at all, but after that, obviously I'm here. So that's a great sign. And then October came around. It's actually crazy because I just got together with my current girlfriend. I've been with her for 8 months. But at the time I was just getting together with her. It was actually our first time at my house and we were both sleeping. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I got a phone call and it was my hospital asking me how fast I could get to the hospital. And I was like, why, what's up? And they're like, well, we think we have organs for you. And I live in Girard. I had to go to Cleveland, which is about an hour and a half away. Let's just say I got up there in about half hour. So I was speeding there. And then when I got there, they got everything ready. And then, so I got the call on the 3rd, but I didn't get the transplant until the 4th that morning. And then I was in there for about, I think they said something like 7-8 hours. And then when I woke up from that, I was doing all right. And then right before I was about to go home, I got a really bad infection in my new lungs just from them being new and everything. So I had to get rushed back down to the ICU. I was in there for about another week. And then when I went back up to my floor, I was there for another week. And then they finally let me home. So I was home for Christmas, thank God. But yeah, so ever since then, I've been doing all right. I have to get blood work every like 2 weeks to make sure everything's working. Fingers crossed, everything's working so far. So yeah, now I'm back here.
Man, I'm glad you are. I'm glad that you made it through that whole ordeal. You know, you're clearly, you're meant to be here with us. You are tough, you're strong, man. And like I said, I'm glad to have you back. Because I noticed, I was like, where is my friend? I haven't seen him in a while. And I figured maybe life kind of, got in the way.
I took a detour for a second.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back, dude.
I appreciate it.
Tell us, how did you find the league in the first place? Back in season 12 or even before?
I actually had a friend. His name's Howard. He originally started watching the SFL back in 2017, so a year before I even started. Well, he only watched it because he didn't know at the time that he could join or anything. And then once he told me about it, I started watching it, which is the first game I watched, I believe was, I know it was a championship game. It was between,
was it the Storm and Tallahassee Pride, maybe?
I believe that sounds about right.
I know that's when I started watching.
I just remember the first game, I was like, wow, like this is actually better than watching the actual football game. And I was like, this is pretty interesting. And then after that, I started watching it regularly. And then eventually I heard, I forget where I seen it, but I was like, I can join. And then I looked it up how to join. And at first I was like, wow, this is so confusing. And I was like, do I join? And then I just said, I tried to join. I joined. And then when I left and came back for this season, then I joined back. And I was like, everything's so different now. Like, I was like, what happened since I've been gone? But I mean, it's really actually kind of more simple now. And I enjoyed like the minor process and everything.
Awesome. Now, it's interesting that you say that because you were there when me and you had to play that one game to showcase all of our talents and how we had to talk to get our chat ranked up and everything.
Yeah.
But now these rookies, right, exactly. And these rookies, they're doing it totally different. Like they have 8 games to showcase their talents and progress and all of that. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you kind of favor one over the other since you actually was able to try it both ways?
Well, back then when I had to chat like crazy to get my chat rank up, not gonna lie, I kind of got annoying eventually I had nothing to talk about, so I had to come up with something to talk about. So eventually there's a lot of non-list, questions with people and answering. But I mean, I like it now way more, if I have to say myself. I didn't realize how many games they had, and I know when I joined late, so I'm still hoping I can do something. I only have 2 games left. Well, 1 game now, because I just played my first game. So I know I joined late and stuff, but I'm still hoping I can do something in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't, it's all right. I'll be back in the minors again.
You know what? And it's great because you're showing the dedication, even you leaving and coming back, and you immediately joining.
Definitely trying.
Right. So, guys, if you're looking for a kicker, he's very good, very, very, very good. And
I bet.
So, what was your original player though?
His name. Okay, so the funny story about this guy, because I remember at first I got so many questions about it. His name was Hyopo Kinloha. Mm-hmm. Now, I came up with that one day because I was like, I want a different player. I wanted to be standout. So how do I do that? I try to make a Hawaiian player. Why I tried doing that, I don't know. It took a lot of research and stuff. I actually came up with that name myself. And it took me a minute to get to know and how to say it pronouncedly correctly. But eventually I got it. And then originally I was a tight end. So coming back into it, that's what I was originally going to do, because I was asked, do you want to bring your old player back? And I was like, no, this is a new me. Let me start fresh then. And originally I wanted to be a halfback, but there was none of them left because everybody wants to be a halfback. So I was like, what other position can I be? And I was like, well, I want to score points. And the only other, I didn't really want to play defense. So I was like, you know what? I'll be a kicker. Why not?
So fantastic. Now, is this something that you want to continue to do, or do you think that you'll ever bring your tight end back?
I want to say this is probably what I'm going to end up doing.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to, get him out of there. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. I love Denver. I always will have a special place in my heart for me being the first team I played for. But, things happen and I, don't end up playing for them, which I know they have a really good kicker on their team right now. So chances are.
They retired. He retired.
Oh.
Of course, they won the championship, had a storyboard. I mean, it's a storybook ending. And, he's retired. So, hey, you never know.
Well, then, if I end up playing for them, I'm going to really try my hardest to get there. But if I don't, whatever team decides to pick me up, I guarantee they'll get a good kicker out of it.
Awesome. Fantastic. So tell us, do you plan on, since you're going to be here, do you want to participate in the league in any other aspect? So like beat writing or stats team or even broadcasting, anything like that?
I remember back when I originally started, I was trying to do something. I think it was just like kind of like writing like stories, I think, or interviewing people or something like that. And I know originally I was liking that, but it was a little bit confusing at the time. I was younger at the time. So now I think I could do something like that, but I'm always looking to help out in any way I can.
Okay, fantastic. And when you're ready to write, I'm on the beat team, so I'll be able to, hook you up with Tom Welsh over there, and we'll be able to get you started.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan.
Beautiful. So tell us, what type of personality will you be bringing to someone's locker room? Let's say Denver's locker room.
Well, regardless of where I go, I can guarantee you that I'm going to try to be a captain in the locker room and then a star on the field. I'm always trying to bring up the team spirits. Always, before every game, I have a little thing where I like to do a little pep talk in the locker room before the game. I did it before our game against Memphis, and clearly you've seen how that worked out. So, great team effort all the way around. Memphis tried their hardest. At first I thought they had something, and then we just came out fighting harder and harder, and we got the victory. So before every game, I like to do a little pep talk against everybody, get their hopes up, spirits up. And then, throughout the off season and everything, I'm always there chatting and everything. I always like to talk. And on the field, I just like to, let my foot do all the talking there.
There you go. All right. Come through in the clutch when it matters.
Yep.
But so what are your expectations of the team that will draft you?
I'm really just looking for a team that is looking for a franchise kicker, because like I said, I'm here now. I'm here to stay. I'm trying to go to a team that's willing to keep me. If I play for a year for a team and they decide they don't want me, so be it. Fair enough. But I am trying to look for a team that wants a franchise kicker who's willing to stay there, and win, lose, draw, doesn't really matter. I'll be there to win. So
fantastic, man. I think that's what people want to know, basically, if you're going to be there for the long haul. So
win, lose, and draw, I'll be there.
Fantastic. And I think that's with anybody, though. You want to, at least as a GM, you want to try to get those people that want to play for you and that want to be around, because you want to try to build your team as much as you can with the players. So once you have everybody's team builds and meshes together, and everything's clicking on all cylinders, then you can turn into the Baltimores, you can turn into the Denvers and the Florida Storms, be those iconic teams that get those wins too. So
yeah.
Tell me, how do you handle adversity and trash talk, when it comes down to people talking mess about your team or about you? How do you handle that?
Don't get me wrong. Trash talking is definitely a part of the game. Like, you gotta get mentally there. Always get people, the mental game right there, trash talking and stuff. So I mean, they want to trash talk, they can, but at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what happens on the field. So my team versus your team, rather you trash talk more than we do or not, one of us has to win.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Looks like you on the winning side.
Yep.
So describe the Salt Lake City locker room.
I mean, off game day, it's a little low down, low key. But I mean, there is people there that talk. I enjoy it. They're all great people there. I've not had one bad conversation with anyone or any problems with anyone. So definitely great people. Our coach, I mean, he's wonderful. He was just talking in there not too long ago about, you know, the game plan and stuff. So I love it. Great spirits, great mindset there. Like I said, if I don't go to the majors and, you know, I stay with them, I'm happy there. So I'll enjoy it.
Okay. Who's responsible for your progressions? Is it you solely, or are the coaches helping you on what to kind of choose to help build the strongest player?
Well, our coach, he messaged me when I first joined and said, you know, if you need any help, just let me know and I can help you out. But so far, I just kind of have a mindset of, I think I know what I want to do from the minors. And once I get to the majors, I think I know what I want to like work on. So, I mean, it's me right now, but if I do need help, he did say he's there to help me.
I like it.
And I appreciate it.
And I see that you just jumped on Mike Twin Screw's mock draft board. You're number 4 right now. And it's not a lot of kickers in the SFLm, you know. So I think it's like 4 of y'all, either kicker and punter. And I do know like there are teams that are definitely in need of kickers, AZ being one of them. So, you know, we look for somebody that's gonna help us out, man. So definitely keep you in mind. At least I know you. I actually been around you. We talked, and I know you. And you're a good person now. You always have been.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so how did you handle this COVID situation, man? Especially with you having the transplant and everything, and how being in the hospital was like the worst place to be and everything. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So back when I actually got my transplant, which is back in October, I actually was not allowed to have anybody there even after, because it all due to COVID and everything. Like they were really strict at that time. So the last time I seen my mother was the day I went to get all like ready and tested on the 3rd. I didn't get to physically see her until December of that year. So October, November, so 3 months I didn't see any of my family. I mean, I did video call them a lot when I could, because after my transplant, I was, you know, wasn't obviously all there. And it was pretty bad. I mean, that was rough for me. I couldn't see like any of my family. I couldn't talk to them. I just really had the nurses around me, which thank God the nurses at Cleveland Clinic are phenomenal. So they helped me a lot. But COVID's been pretty rough because when I got out, it was still pretty big. So I had to stay isolated for about 2 months. I wasn't allowed to go outside at all. And then even after I was allowed outside, I wasn't allowed at big places like the malls, the big stores around me.
Right.
So now, since COVID, you know, kind of getting a little leveled out, I'm finally allowed to have a job. So I do work currently. So I have, you know, financial income finally good here. Actually, last year, right before I got my transplant, I actually rented my own apartment. So I have that going on for me. So, I mean, it's been rough, but I've been trying to deal with it the best I can.
Yeah.
Especially work. I work in a pretty crowded environment, so I have to wear a mask 24/7, even though mask mandates are now off in Ohio, but I still have to wear it.
Yeah.
Because due to my transplant.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that you stay healthy.
Yeah,
you know?
That's for sure.
So I totally get that, man. So yeah, I can imagine that was definitely very hard. Before my father passed, he actually passed at home, but he was in the hospital for a while. And I think that's probably the worst thing when you can't see your family on either way. You can't see the person that's in there that you just want to check on, make sure they're okay, see if they need anything. And then on the other end, when you're the patient, you can't see anybody that's going to help lift your mood up, lift your spirits up. So It's like, not only are you healing from that, you got to, deal with that kind of, that mental thing too. So, but
definitely have that high mental state, good mindset to be in that type of environment.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, again, you proved your strength, and you got out of there, and you're back with us, which is awesome. But one more question for you: what are your goals? Like, today is June 1st. What do you want to have accomplished by June the 1st, 2022?
By next year, for one, I hope to have a car, because I still don't have a car. I'm still working on that. So after I get my car, I really want to upgrade to an actual house and not an apartment, because I like to do things late at night, and obviously an apartment can't do that.
Yes.
But other than that, really just to keep healthy. Hope my family's all healthy still. That's pretty much it. Just stay healthy, get a car, and just keep pushing forward in life. Okay.
And what about an SFL? That should be like 2 seasons.
Well, by then, obviously I hope I'm in the majors by then, which most likely I won't be. But if I do, I hope to be established as, one of them great kickers in the SFL. Hopefully get to a team, get to the playoffs at least. If I win a championship, great. Obviously, that's the long goal. But overall, I just hope I'm around to stay and stay healthy so I can continue doing what I like.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. And with your spirit and your drive, I'm sure you will be. So did you have any questions for me before we let you go?
Not really.
All right. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, you are definitely invited to come back on anytime that you want to. My door is always open. If you want to share some more news with us, or even after you get drafted, then, you can come back and explain that experience. But it's one more kind of a little question before I actually let you go. What are the differences that you noticed being a rookie back in season 12 and then being a rookie nowadays, besides the fact that you play more games? Do you notice anything else? Or not really?
I mean, I was just talking to someone about this the other day, because I was like, it seems like SFL is totally different from when I first joined. Because back then, like I said, everyone was chatting. The chat locker rooms and everything were blowing up. Like, you couldn't be off the app without 50 notifications from Discord. But now it seems like it's more, more playing games, less chatting. So, I mean, that's the biggest difference I've seen so far. Is obviously, just play games now. I mean, the progression seems like it's all the same. And everything like that. It's just chatting's the biggest difference. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because, I mean, back then I didn't like chatting. But now I'm like, where's everyone chatting at? Why no one saying anything?
And I think it's also probably the time that you get on there too,
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's off season. So every time we had off seasons, it's good that we have so much content and content creators out there doing things to kind of keep us entertained until the season starts again. Even with SFLm though, that is a great way to kind of get ready for the season, because as GMs and owners looking at your potential new teammates that you're going to be adding to the locker room. But it's also like entertainment. It's still football, something that we were all craving, but now we only have to wait like a month before the season starts versus having to sit here with like 2 or 3 months of just doing nothing.
Right.
So
totally understand that.
That was like the hardest time that you had just sitting there and just
definitely itching to get back on the field. I can't wait for next week.
Exactly.
I already want to play another game, even though our game just ended 2 days ago.
Speaking of which, how'd you like the game, man?
I enjoyed it a lot. Actually, me and my girlfriend, we were watching it together. I had to explain to her the rules and everything, because, she don't really watch a lot of football. She was like, I'm so confused what we're watching. I'm like, listen, I'll explain to you while we go on. Just know if it's a kick, it's me.
There you go.
So, I mean, she was cheering for me the whole time as best she could. So I appreciate it.
That's good. That's good. And hey, maybe the next time you come on, you can bring her on and I can help further explain some things.
I can.
All right. But listen, definitely pleasure to have you on, Jason, but I cannot let you go without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or just a simple shout out. But right now, Jay, the floor is yours.
All right. I'd like to say thanks to the whole SFL for letting me, come back and feel like I haven't left. I really appreciate it. If you guys want, you can follow me on all social medias. It's B14SunnyJ at all platforms. Also, since I started streaming and everything, I actually have a sponsor with Rogue Energy. If you go to rogueenergy.com and use discount code B14SunnyJ, you can save 10%. It's a gaming energy drink, 0 sugar, 0 calories and all that. It's great for you. They have awesome flavors. Keep adding every day. So, yeah, I appreciate if you guys use that. And glad to be for having me here.
I'm glad you were here. Maybe you should send me some of those Rogue Energy drinks so I can try it. I'll be streaming sometimes. But all right, man. Pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being on, and I'm looking forward to seeing you around.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, and welcome back to my Fourth and Goal interview. My next guest is Mr. Stefan Forge. He is the linebacker for the Ottawa Cavalry. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Ashley, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Glad to have you on the show. It's a beautiful sunny day, so I decided to, take the show outside. Why not?
Exactly. Enjoy that weather.
I am. Before it gets too hot, right?
Yep.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you made time for me today.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Anytime. So let's get started with some good stuff. Let's get to know you. So what is, if Stefan is not your real name, and if you feel comfortable, would you give us your real name, your age, your hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team?
Well, my real name is Steve. So I'm 47. I live in Pittsburgh. And obviously living in Pittsburgh, my favorite team is the Steelers.
Good deal. I like that. I'm actually a fan of, I like the steel, what is it called? The steel curtain?
Yeah. The 70s. That was an awesome team. Definitely.
Even though I am a Bears and a Falcons fan, I like Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh. Palomalo was my favorite though. He was my favorite player.
Yeah, he was amazing. He did things that weren't humanly possible.
Yeah, like you can literally see him on the line of scrimmage, and then he'll be out in the backfield chasing somebody down. Like, how did you get from there to there in light years, and then like in light speed? How do you do that? But yeah, he was dope. And so, what are some interesting facts about yourself?
Interesting facts about myself. Well, I've never played football before.
Okay.
But I have studied it a lot. I have more strategy books about football than I should probably own, considering that I've never played it, but it's always fascinated me. I always like to read up on the different offenses and defenses and plays, and I even have a book on conditioning. So wow. I had aspirations to be a coach at one point in my life, but unfortunately that didn't quite work out. So
hey, but you know what? You can also try it here.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. It's kind of fascinating to me because I've been doing a little bit of scouting with my minor league team, and that took me right into, well, if I'm doing this, I should look into coaching too, because it seems to be the path that I'm on.
Exactly. I mean, you got the books, you probably know all these plays. It's about 6,000 plays though in that editor, but I'm sure you're going to be familiar with a few of them. And so
I'm getting familiar with some of them, but there are a lot of plays in there.
Yeah, when they told me that, I'm like, how do you guys do that? How do you prepare for possibly any one of these 6,000 plays? It's crazy.
Yes, it is.
Kudos. But so tell us, how did you find us in the first place?
Well, I was watching TV one Saturday, and I was flipping through the channels, and I came across what was then 11 Sports, and I saw the game, and I was like, what is this? And so I started watching, and I was just taken in by it from the get-go. I couldn't stop, and that was season 14. That was about the midway point of season 14, and ever since I made it a point to watch every weekend. And then this past March, I decided that not only was I going to watch, I wanted to play too. So,
well, I'm glad you did, man. You linebacker too. So
Yeah.
why'd you choose linebacker?
well, like most people, I would think I wanted to be a quarterback. But when I got into the position claim and everything, and when I did some research about it, since everybody wants to be a quarterback, it's unlikely that you're going to go very far as a quarterback right away. And I've always also been a linebackers fan, because living in Pittsburgh and watching the 3-4, you have a natural draw to linebackers. So I said, I could be Kevin Green instead.
There you go.
So I decided to become a linebacker instead. And I'm very happy with it. I really enjoyed watching my player progress as a linebacker and seeing what he does. It's a lot of fun.
Wonderful. So what did you think about this last game, though?
What happened Sunday night?
Yes.
I don't know how to put it into words. I apologize. I don't know how to put what happened into words, other than to say that it hurt to watch that a lot.
Yeah, and football is emotion, right? It is emotional content that you're watching. I remember when we lost to Denver in the playoffs, I'd start crying because I immediately had to record right after that. And you can get so involved, I think that's the word. Involved in your team, and you want to see them do well, and then when they're on their cuffs, and then it kind of just gets snatched away from you. I definitely feel your pain, man. But it happens, and you only grow from it.
Absolutely. I felt very badly for y'all in Arizona, because I watched that playoff game, and that was just the craziest ending I've ever seen to a playoff game.
Yeah.
So,
But where it was to our detriment, for them, those guys were retiring and leaving. So it ended on a positive note for them, on a happy note. They wound up winning the championship. So, kind of like that storybook ending to your.
yeah, it was.
So you can't be too mad about it. Plus, those guys there's some good guys over there. So, but yeah, it happens, man. And y'all got another game or two to kind of turn things around. At least try to. Are you guys knocked out of the playoffs? Are you still in the contention?
No,
Yeah,
we're
you're
out. We have 5 losses, and I don't think anybody else who's in contention can get 5 losses at this point. I mean, we can only get to 3 wins, so that won't be enough. So somebody else could lose. No, actually, no one else can get to 5 losses. That's right. So ourselves and Birmingham have been eliminated.
But don't be discouraged, man. I know sometimes it happens, and you probably felt like, you felt very bad. But you got some good things coming around the corner. You got this draft coming up. You make sure you go out here and talk to every GM, every owner. Hey, you need a linebacker? I'm your guy. Give them the reason to put you onto that next level. And if not, then you can go and give them a heck of a season next season for the SFLm. But we're not going to speak on that. We're going to say you're going to get drafted, okay?
That is my hope and dream.
And
That definitely is.
You really do have a pretty good player too. You have 28 tackles, 11 assists, a sack. 7 tackles for loss. So tell me, who was responsible for your progression? Was it you solely, or were the coaches working with you on that?
Well, my progressions, I look back at under the how-to, the how-to section of the web page, and it showed me all the primary statistics for linebackers. So I started there, and then I talked to my coach about it a couple of times because I was just curious about the secondary progressions as well. And we decided that just stay with the primaries because that's what's going to help your on-field the most, and that's what's going to build your player the most. So that's what I've been doing. And then as far as what I've been picking, I look at like 1 week, I forget who it was against, but a running back ran me over and went the distance for a touchdown. So I was like, well, that is never happening again. And so I went in and I put, I think, 3 points in tackle. And I think the other 2 went into run coverage or something like that, because we lost the game by 7 points. And that play was at the end of the first half. And to lose by 7 and to look at that touchdown and go, you know, if you'd have brought the running back down, and I wasn't gonna let that happen again.
Absolutely. Speed, tackle, all the good stuff. And yeah, you're right. Your coaches are right to tell you to concentrate on what's vitally important for your player, because you can add all these great high value animations, low value animations, and if you haven't built your player up, then it's not going to really work out in the way it's supposed to. So that's good that you're taking that time out to realize what you needed, and that helps the coaches too. That helps the owners also know that, you know, they could tell you what to do, but you also have a general idea. I mean, you got every book in the world on football, so of course, you know.
Oh my!
But do you plan on doing anything besides being a player in the league? Like, do you want to do stats? Do you want to? Well, you're scouting already, which is a plus.
Yeah.
But did you want to eventually go into coaching, or did you want to be on the beat writing team or broadcasting, anything like that?
Well, I did try for the broadcast team. Okay. Unfortunately, my computer submarined that whole deal for me.
Yeah.
Because when I tried to do the broadcast, when I go into the Discord and then try to hook up to the audio, my computer would freeze up and basically stop working. So that didn't happen. But I have been writing for the website. I write a column for the website, Thoughts from the Forge, Musings of a Rookie. I've had about 2 or 3 editions of that. I got another one coming up here this week. Okay. I am interested in stats for sure. And I do have aspirations to do coaching, and maybe somewhere far down the line, I would love to be able to own my own franchise.
Wonderful. Hey, and it's good to be able to let people know exactly what your intentions are, because when they know that you're going to be in it for the long haul, then that means you're more valuable. That means that people will know, okay, well, I have Stefan here. He's going to be right here. I don't have to worry about looking for a linebacker next season or in a couple seasons, because he's dedicated to my team. With that being said, though, what type of personality will you bring to someone's team once you get drafted?
I'm not a big personality. I'm more laid back. You know, I have a sense of humor, and I enjoy some of the silly conversations that go on, like in the chat during games and in the chat during other things. And I like to just keep it smooth and level, and not get too high, not get too low, but be supportive, be encouraging. I guess generally just kind of stay positive. When I get like negative, it's within the walls of my own home, and it's just between me and the house. We have discussions when I'm feeling down. So, but when I'm in the locker room and and in the Discord, I always want to stay positive, because there's no need to be negative in there. You can talk to the walls at home about your negative feelings, and they don't mind.
Right. And and I understand, because you don't want to come off as a negative Nelly or someone that is always complaining about something. But just know that there are people in the league that if you ever do want to talk, I am one of them. If you ever do want to just talk about something, or you don't necessarily need an answer, but you just want someone to listen, you got people out here that would be willing to do that for you, okay?
Okay, I appreciate that.
Anytime, man, anytime. So tell me, what are your expectations from the team that drafts you? What do you want them to be able to do for you?
Honestly, my only expectation for the team that drafts me is that hopefully I can step in and play, and that they'll want to give me opportunities, like in terms of continuing to scout, or contributing as a writer, or helping me in terms of growth as a player, and possibly helping me in terms of growth as relates to coaching, things like that. My biggest thing is I just want to get on the field and get out there and play. That's my biggest thing. That's right now, since I'm not there, that's like the moment I'm waiting for. But I want to grow in a lot of different areas, and I'm hopeful that the team I join will be able to help me. I know they will, because I've watched the league for, like I said, about 2.5 seasons, and I see it in the chat and everything, and I see it on Discord. But that's my kind of expectations.
Fantastic. And you get with the right team, well, and like I said, any team will be able to kind of shape and mold you, as long as you let your coach and let the owner know what your intentions are. Definitely, they'll be willing to groom you into the person and the player that you want to be. That's it,
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Stefan,
it's a great community, so I have no doubts.
It is one of the best communities that I have been a part of online. And I will tell anybody that's looking to find somewhere to go where you can just be yourself and have a true family kind of oriented environment, this is it right here.
Exactly.
But tell me, how did you deal with this COVID situation? I know everybody had different experiences with it. Some people didn't really get, affected too much. Some people got affected greatly by losing people or either getting it themselves. How did you deal with it?
Well, I dealt with it by basically going into seclusion. I took the guidelines very seriously, and fortunately, my workplace delegated that we could work from home. We've been out for about 14 months now, or going on 15 months now, and I followed. The only things I went out for were the necessities: grocery shopping. We didn't do any out dining. We called ahead and ordered, or we went to the drive-thru or anything like that. And I have spent most of the time at home. I visited my parents a few times, because that's close family, and I knew that they were taking the same precautions. But yeah, I kind of wrapped myself up in a cocoon and stayed safe.
Fantastic. All right. Just curious. That's been the question that I've kind of added since this whole thing is happening, because everybody has, dealt with it differently. Some people have family on the front lines of it, as nurses and doctors, and so it's just interesting to hear everybody's different answer. But one more last question. Where do you find yourself on June the 1st of 2022? What goal would you like to have accomplished by then? And that could be in life and in the SFL. Wow. In life, I'm hoping that
things will be to the point where I can feel like it's normal again, and I don't feel like I'm in danger every time I go into a building, or every time I encounter people on the street or whatever, or I can get back together with extended family as well, and not have that fear that you could catch COVID. As far as the SFL on June 1st, 2022, I hope to be a starting linebacker in the SFL.
There you go. There you go. And I think you will. And like I said, I think it's important for rookies to get out here, and because it's important for people to get to know you as a person, because your player, of course, people look at stats all day. But I think it's getting to know the person that's going to be in your locker room, actually, you're going to be communicating with back and forth. I think that's important for you to kind of hear them, hear the voice, see them, and, and see how they're going to mix with you. And in turn, you get to kind of, ask questions, make sure you ask plenty of questions of things you don't understand. Pull one of us to the side, like, hey, I don't understand this. We got you. Don't ever feel like you're in here by yourself, okay?
I never do.
Good.
Never do.
Good. Well, Stefan, it was a beautiful conversation. I thank you so much for taking time out to hang out with me. And you are invited to come back on the show anytime that you want to. Please just hit my DMs and I will have you back on, okay?
I appreciate that, and I thank you for inviting me on the show. It's an honor to sit and chat with you.
Oh, man, the pleasure is all mine. So, before I let you go, though, I have to give you the last word. So, that can be a song, that can be a poem, or just a simple shout out. But right now, Stefan, the floor is yours.
Oh, you caught me off guard with that.
Sometimes I do that.
I just want to give a shout out to all the minor leaguers who are striving to get there, and that we're all in this together.
So, hey, didn't make it to the championship, but hopefully when the SFL, whatever SFL majors team that you land on, they'll help you get that ring, man. Okay?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully I can be a big contributor to that.
And I believe that you will. You already got the right attitude. You already got all the books. So.
Yeah.
But you have a good one. And I'm looking forward to see you in your last game, okay?
You have a good one too. And thanks again for having me on the show.
Anytime, Merlin. Anytime. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. That is it. I want to thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Special thanks goes out to Sonny and Stefan for being on the show, and Mike Ten's crew for always making sure he gives us up-to-date versions of his mock draft. But especially Mr. Jimmy Hazards for, gracing my show with his presence once more.
Trying to do something different. Just trying.
And it was really good having you on, and of course you're able to, whenever you're willing to come back and help me out, I would greatly appreciate it, brother, because that was good of you to come and help me out in the fly.
Can I drop some news? Can I drop a little bit of news for the world? So hey, SFLm, everyone. First off, first and foremost, if you would love for me to be on your podcast, just DM me, PM me, whatever it's called, and I would love to be down with anyone podcast. But after the draft, hopefully I get drafted, I'm starting up my own podcast with Mike Savage. It's going to be called It's a Doozy. It's going to be a doozy, and we're going to try to cover just the Mora. We're going to cover more of SFL and SFLm, but we're going to try to keep a mix, but we're going to bring the hip hop swag towards the SFL. That's one thing I see we don't have in SFL, and we just want to just liven everyone up. So after the draft, keep your eyes open. Me, Mike Savage, it's gonna be a doozy.
All right, I'm excited about that. And I would like to be one of your first guests.
You will be.
Okay?
You will be. You only show the respect back. Where's Ashley at? That's our first guest. Where's Ashley?
Good, man. Well, I wish you the best of luck in that. And of course, if you need any advice, I'm here for you, man. Been doing it for almost since 2018 now, so I'll be able to help you out with anything that y'all need, all right?
And I'm knocking at the door if I ever need an answer. Yes, ma'am.
Sounds good, man. But Everybody, thank you again for joining us. I am looking forward to bringing you another great podcast next week. But until then, y'all, stay safe, treat each other well. Jimmy and Striker out.
We're out.